Hello and welcome to part 26 of Knights of the Old Republic. Completing quests and starting new ones. Jawa would like to thank you. Mine have returned because of you. We're on the train. I know of this, but it is very far away. Eastern Dune Sea. Isis and the tribe are all of the same possessions. We have given what was agreed by all. There is little more. You're a good friend of the Jawa. We will remember when your kind are gone. Ask if you need more of anything. Did we get rewarded with? Droid parts, maybe? Okay. So now we want to return to the Ebonhawk. Just because it's a little bit quicker to reach the Zerka office from here.
Greetings again from the offices of Zerka Corporation. Is this about bounties or something else? I see that, but do you have the all-important Chieftain's Gaffy? That was what you agreed to get for us.
Here it is.
Well, that is a very big headache that you've removed. I'm sure there are still sand people out there, but they'll be quieter now. I think I'll give you a bonus for this. You've more than lived up to your side of the bargain. Zerka Corporation thanks you. And I wouldn't want you to leave without this additional reward. Yes, of course I wouldn't.
A Jedi should not use the Force to acquire credits, even if we are taking them from a corrupt corporation like Zerka.
Greetings again from the off... Greetings again from... You have fulfilled your end of the bargain, and Zerka Corporation is grateful. The Sand People will be less of a threat without their chieftain. I will, of course, continue to give you bounties on regular Gaffy sticks. Everyone helps. Fair...
So much. So. Okay. And we did level up. Skills. Demolitions. Awareness. Feats. We'll take dueling. We could get better at actually hitting things. Energy resistance. Force resistance. Actually, I'm thinking I would like speed. Yeah, we'll change our mind. Energy resistance is a good power, so we'll probably not specific to what we're going to be fighting, but it is a good power to have.
Oh, good.
So yeah, you can now go back to the Sand People Enclave and kill all the rest of them for more gaffy sticks, but again, it'll be very bloody and just kind of being mean for the sake of just earning a couple more credits at this point. Just seems unneedily greedy. What is our level? Okay, we get 6 more. There's like a Markopus here, so I don't know why we couldn't have just... The game is incredibly silly sometimes. That's our direct line back to the Sand People Enclave. Just a stickler for filling in the map. There doesn't seem to be a whole ton out here. Although saying that, I seem to have found a rubble pile over here. But there isn't really anything on it, so... I don't know. Yeah, you can. You can be like, I changed my mind about peace with the Sand People, and just be like, I would like more gaffy sticks. It just seems unnecessarily mean. I mean, you can do it. There's little in this game you, as far as like general bastardry, that you can't do. That's actually what makes it very appealing for its time, really. I don't think we missed much of anything.
I'm tired of waiting, Comad. How big can this dragon of yours be? I'm going in.
Well, you went in. I thought I would see you out here, human. We're hunters, you and I. Perhaps we should prove our skills. Attract a very special beast to its lair. A great dragon rests within. Tonight he is the hunted, although by unorthodox means. That is true, but this is a very critical fight. Bull dragons are rare to see. Rarer still is the size of one. It's larger than one my father felled a decade ago. He is too far out of his territory, and he must be dealt with. I might not prevail alone, human, but I must try. You are here, they are not. I also didn't know the size of my quarry until I was tracking them. Perhaps there are other reasons. Tried to get the help of one other, but you saw him die in the lair. He lacked experience and most importantly patience. I usually hope for the skill of it, but must make an exception today. I want newcomers to understand the proper intent behind the hunt, no matter the methods we use. We each have our reasons. You might select challenge or glory as your own. Profit is also valid. When they reach the size of the river, they have enough pearls within them. You receive a generous share. Rumor, you don't know? Nobody from our lodge has successfully hunted a bull dragon in perhaps a decade. My father may have been the last. His words are what I go by. You must bait the great beast out of hiding and ambush him swiftly. There is no room to engage him in the lair, and his hide will repel the blaster fire. It will repel blaster fire. I placed mines around the mouth of the cave. We must coax him out. But this is the end of his season of hibernation. It will take much to rouse him. The food of a beast this size is almost exclusively banthas and foolish hunters. If we're not careful. To lure him out, we must lure his food to tempt him. Mines don't seem sporting. It's true and I regret it. I tracked this beast for many days and hope to face him fairly. But there are other concerns than my honor. He seemed like he is isolated, and the range of his territory extends deep into settled areas. We must kill him for the safety of others, and blasters will not do the job. You must lead the Panthers here using fodder like the sand people do. Their warriors may carry some, or you can search the settlement. The spaceport merchant also has some, I'm not sure why. If you find fodder and bait the Panthers here, the miners will deal with the dragon as it emerges to feed. Not exactly a glorious hunt, but it will ensure the safety of the region. If it were that simple, you'd have done it yourself. There is one added threat. The Sand people regard banthas as sacred. Attempting to feed the herd in this area will likely lead to an attack. We are far from the weakened tribes around Anchorage. Sand people in this region are strong, fierce, and will think nothing of killing you. Be careful. Look, I have your fodder. We'll see what I can do. Those bantha were not here before. I think it just takes the fodder. Oh boy. I did not leave any remains.
Achuta, Wonga kun visto. Achuta, Wonga kun visto.
Good job. Come talk to me.
Jedabadawana ni dibobo. Dong na bungsha nununya. Dong patukashmak talea.
I'm ready.
Hey,
what is that rumbling sound? Oh boy, he's a big one. Whoa. Oh, they did work. It took quite a few of them. It is done, and the great beast is dead. To my shame, I denied him a final fight. I will honor his memory to make amends. I thank you for your aid. You have earned a share of the victory, such as it is. It would have to be done. Regardlessly so. Just hope you remember there are higher reasons for this. Don't let the spoils be your only reason to hunt. Well paid, the sands remain. Thank you for your help today, human. I shall see you again, I am sure. We got one pearl. Alright, nothing to do but explore the cave. Jedi Master Road. Ahem. Jedi Knight Road for Juhani. Basically the same.
What?
Yeah, I killed a Jedi Master. That's saying a lot. Violet Crystal. I was looking for that. They stuck it all the way in here. Nerve amplifier belts. I like the idea of being immune to mind-affecting things. And we have a Star Forge. Yay!
The star map. Even after all the thousands of years it has been here, it still has tremendous power. Can you not feel it? This star map is an artifact of the dark side. The great dragon may have been drawn here by its dark power, only to be enslaved by it. Come, we should leave this place. There is nothing else for us here.
Big boy experience.
Master?
Yes, I'm here.
But when we leave, we come to find that there are people waiting for us. It can kind of, yeah.
I have to give you credit. You've led me on quite a chase, but nobody gets away from Calo Nord in the end. You got lucky on Terrace. The Sith attack saved you from a quick and gruesome death. But I promise you, the Sith won't be getting in my way this time. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
work
not
out a
in this for
deal.
the credits. You're the only ones who've ever gotten away from me. I've got a rep to protect. Let's go, boys. It's showtime.
said I can do
And after they impressed us at the beginning with Calo Nord, he more or less dies with a whimper. 2,000 credits, thermal detonators, concussion grenades, Zabrak Tistel Mark III, Arcanian Heavy Pistol, Vibroblades, and Calo Nord's Battle Armor. The real value is just in looting him alone. That's the only reason to even bother, like... Also, it went up a significant amount of levels, which makes quite a difference. We're almost done with this deserty planet. I might make some, like, journeys between planets to look for and find specific items, but I will try to keep them off recording in between episodes. Because interplanetary travel is kind of time consuming. You get the cutscenes basically every time. Actually, on that thought, there doesn't seem to be an obvious option to turn off the videos. Yeah, the blaster deflect is actually kind of a neat ability. Leveling it up, it actually could be very, very helpful. That would have actually been a pretty good one to have for fighting the Sand people. Because I think it takes damage and blocks the first 15 points of every, like, shot you take. We will quick save. This is grateful, or at least less than time to smash your head open.
What do you wish to ask of him, Master? Protocol. This will be a very sensitive topic. Translation. You have been told that to be considered worthy of hearing the histories, you need to bring him a dragon pearl from a great dragon. Translation. He says the discussion is closed until you fulfill this condition. He thinks you are just making fun of his traditions.
Just a second. I wanna know how much the pearl's worth. Okay.
What do you wish wish to ask of him, Master?
Glitchy full screen.
Protocol. Translate.
The pearl is worth 2,500 credits.
Translation. Translation. He is stupefied, Master. He never thought you could return with such an item. Such a thing has not been done in many years. Translation. He will allow you to meet the storyteller, but also gives a warning. If you dare to repeat the histories incorrectly, you will be killed. Translation. The storyteller will be summoned to one of the rooms here in the Enclave. He seems to think this is a great honor for you, Master. Translation. Translation. We are free to leave.
Yeah, so that was the only thing. I just wanted to know how much it was worth before I gave it away. But yeah, we have like over 10,000 credits, so we don't need it. You can also go away, kill everyone here, including the chief, and then loot it back, but that's unnecessarily mean, so we're not going to do that. Alright, we're next to storyteller. Look at the warriors that we encountered. The storyteller is relatively calm in his movements and speech. He still regards you coldly.
Translation. He identifies himself as the storyteller, Master. He has been told of your warrior skills and will speak the history to you.
He will speak it, they don't write it down.
Translation. Translation. Theirs is an oral history, Master, an active part of their lives. It is only permitted to relay the tales face to face. Translation. A book or datapad can be taken away, cheapening the value of what it contains. To commit it to paper or storage is to remove it from the people.
I mean, you could do both, but oral histories are often inaccurate.
Translation. Translation. He says that you dare not question the accuracy of his information. The stories are learned perfectly by each successive storyteller. Translation. In fact, they aren't allowed to speak the stories aloud unless they are exact. Any error is considered a blasphemy punishable by death. Criticism. It seems inefficient to me, Master. A score of apprentice storytellers would be slaughtered each generation. What if the elder died before completing the teachings?
That's a good question. Ask him that.
Translation. Translation. Apprentices are trained from birth. Very few speak the words in error. Storytellers are most often lost in battle between tribes. Translation. Any tribe that loses its storyteller is obviously unworthy of existing. They lose their connection to history and destroy themselves with infighting soon after.
Yeah, that's pretty survival of the fittest mentality.
Translation. Translation. You may choose to hear the history, or you may choose not to. Their history is a single entity that cannot be partitioned. Translation. The only exception is in continuing the tales once they have begun. If you leave, when you return, he will continue from where he left off.
Okay. Begin.
Translation. Translation. It begins with the ancient times. They were not sand people, for there was no sand. The land was green with life, and they walked without wrappings. Translation. Though the land was beautiful, they lived apart from the land. They built their walls high and saw beyond the horizon. They dared to reach the stars. Translation. There are no words for how long ago this was. It was before the outsiders, before the abduction, before the cities fell, before the builders. Cautionary. I should warn you, Master, that any questioning of their interpretation may be seen as trying to change the meaning of what was said. Clarification. They may consider this to be speaking the words in error, a blasphemy they would attempt to kill you for. Clarification. It would appear that they once had a thriving technologically advanced society, but were wiped out by a much more sophisticated alien
Well, they weren't
species.
wiped out, but they probably lost a war.
Doubting. I don't believe he can, Master. Even if their stories are exact and unchanged, it is likely they were first told thousands of years after these events occurred. This has become very much like a creation myth for his people. There is no date. It simply was. Translation. Translation. He only understands the Builders as an iconic force meant to test the resolve of his people. He is not making sense, Master. Clarification. They claim their stories are repeated unchanged, but they have demonized these Builders. In their minds, they wreaked such havoc they could not possibly be flesh and blood. Cautionary. Master, this line of questioning may be interpreted as attempting to change the story. He may react poorly. Negative. I am no library, but since there is no Republic record of this planet having sentient life before Zerka colonization, I doubt you will find such evidence.
Ask him if these builders resemble any modern species.
Translation. Translation. He only understands the Builders as clarification. Cautionary. Clarification. Obedient. I will ask whatever you wish, Master.
Yeah, if HK warns you, it means if you kind of press in that particular category, like, without being careful, they will attack you. So you do need to kind of be very careful.
Translation. Translation. His arrogant people touched the stars, and this sin drew the attention of the Builders. The Builders did not touch the stars, they lashed them to millstones. Translation. Great demons of metal stripped the world of its riches, until all that was left was the green of the ground. The great cities were lifted away. Translation: those that had used the wealth were taken along with it. Transgressors abducted to serve past the sky, seeding the stars with penitent, adaptable slaves. Cautionary. Clarification. I believe they were occupied by this technologically superior species for a substantial period. Stripping an entire planet of usable resources would have taken generations.
Or the
Obvious.
invaders.
The same reason Zerka Corporation is attempting it now. Expanding empires need tremendous amounts of resources. Translation. Translation. He has no number. He claims that those that were taken were examples of the worst of his kind, arrogant and uncaring of the land. Doubtful. Master, this is just another distortion due to their demonization of the builders. It's like claiming an aspect of his people were taken, not actual individuals. Clearly, history has colored his view. Of course, only the inferior meatbags were taken. The remaining were his ancestors, after all. It must have been special.
Suggest that he rethink it. No. That will lead to attack.
Cautionary. Master, this line of questioning may be interpreted as attempting to change the story. He may react poorly. Cautionary. Obedient. Translation. Translation. There came a time when the builders were also judged for their crimes. After generations, a plague weakened them, and the time of the Great War began. Translation. The builders faltered, and his people realized why they had been punished, so that they understood the crime, and would now strike down the greater offender. Translation. They worked chaos in the machines, so they destroyed themselves. The builders fought back, laying waste to the green that had been misused with fire from above. Translation. Soil became glass, grinding to sand, but the fight was long planned, and his people were safe. Deep in Cape homes carved from Valley Wall, they were free.
They basically made the planet like this in war.
Cautionary. Clarification. The occupying force suffered some sort of species-wide plague that lowered their numbers over time. His people used this extended weakness to sabotage their larger ships. The response of the builders appears to have been to lay waste to the entire surface of Tatooine. Doubting. They didn't, Master. They struck a blow. But the storyteller only believes they won because the builders were gone when they emerged from their caves. That does not mean they defeated anyone. It seems clear that the builders simply sterilized their problem and left. The enemy judged them not worthy to fight. Cautionary. Master, this line of questioning may be interpreted as attempting to change the story. He may react poorly. Clarification. I may not have properly conveyed how long they fought with the builders. Given time, any number of armaments could destroy a world. Hypothesis. Perhaps this is another distortion. Their climate may have begun to fail due to their unrestrained development even before the builders arrived. Looking back thousands of years later, such a shift could easily be attributed to the much-hated conquerors.
There's no way to know for sure.
Doubting. That does not... Hypothesis. If his people were moving away from technology for a long time under the Builders, they may have had extensive cave systems that could grant shelter. I would also suggest that, given the evidence of the massive shift in the nature of their society, most of them did not survive. Cautionary. Obedient.
Let's continue.
Translation. Editing, if I may, Master. This section of his tale details several millennia of the Long Walk, their nomadic wanderings as they accept their identity in a desert world. Rather than strain my circuits on his dialect, might we just assume there was much fighting over who has the biggest bantha and move on to more recent things? Resignation. Very well, Master. Translation. The tribes spread far, distant from each other, but all as sand people and all cherished the land that remained. The sand would not be misused. Translation. Then machines fell from the stars again, outsiders like you that brazenly walked apart from the land. And greater still was the insult to come. Translation. These outsiders reminded them of their past transgression, of the time when they too walked apart from land. The outsiders, your kind, looked like their ancient abducted. Translation. So it is to the current sons that the Sand People hate all outsiders and give them no footing. You come again, time after time, adaptable slaves to the machine. Cautionary. Remember. Impatience. Master, I refuse to inconvenience you with this. He spouted names of petty tribal fights in deserts so distant they might as well be across the galaxy. Really, Master, I'm sure it's important to him, but it has nothing of value that you could ever put to use. Agreement. Of course, Master. Just no more of their inane wandering. Obedient. Translation. Translation. The tribes spread far, distant from each other, but all as sand people and all cherished the land that remained. The sand would not be misused. Translation.
Is there anything further?
Editing. The last 1,000 years are full of conflicts with different groups of attempted planetary settlers, all of whom are poorly described, long dead, and likely untraceable. I believe I have truncated it down to the usable bits in what was already said. I hope it is enough, Master. Cautionary. Clarification. They appear to hate humanity with a passion only rivaled by their hatred of the Builders. For some reason, you resemble what they once were. Perhaps there is a lingering fear that you are their tainted selves returning from exile among the stars.
Is it physical or societal similarity?
Cautionary. Master, if you mean to suggest that humanity is ancestrally linked to ancient Tatooine, you will strain his belief system to its pitiful meatbag maximum. Cautionary. Translation. Now that you have heard the whole of the history, you may select a piece of it to hear again. Obedient. Translation. Translation. We are free to leave. Translation. Translation. Now that you have heard the whole...
Alright, we've heard the history.
Query. Protocol. This will be a very sensitive...
Okay. Well, we're done. So, the Pearl is worth a lot. But, in hearing the story about the Sand People history, you do get a lot of lore about their history. Which I consider to be way more valuable than the credits from the Pearl. Just because they're basically in the Star Wars movies, but you don't really know anything about them. Oh, I didn't end up taking speed in the end, did I? Oh yeah, the deflection. Speed's nice, but it's not... I don't find it particularly valuable, besides being like a time saver. Also, let's see... We'll give HK some blasters. I might need to put those on some of my other characters. I ain't gonna bother with the stores on this planet. There doesn't seem to be a lot. There's like a lot of like good armors, but there's nothing that I really want to that I would want to have, or that I think will make a huge difference in really anything. We do have a journal. There we go. There really isn't anything left to do on this planet. So we will set ourselves up in the Ebon Hawk. Energy damage bonus, Aquila. With the sigil. The sigil, that becomes a very powerful lightsaber, actually. Good attack modifier. Yeah, we got her with the purple lightsaber now. And yeah, we'll unpeel maybe some story here in the game in the next episode and recording session. I'm going to call it a day now. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you haven't already done so, feel free to follow button one time or sub, like, and share if you're watching. This is an episodic series on YouTube. Take care. Till next time. Later on, / to be continued. Take care, guys.